Alright, so it's that time of the year again. As you all know, we just got our newest spring update. The spring update brought you the newest character being Tyr. This update, kind of in the way that it was shelled out and everything, it seems that this was originally a festival. The way that Hell was done seems like she was supposed to be a festival. This would be part 2 to the festival. That entire process, you didn't get it that way. It was a 600 banner, yada yada yada. The banners seem to go and conclude on the 24th. With that knowledge, on the 24th, given this time frame and given their latest dev notes, the last dev notes, they did confirm that a collaboration is in the works, and the next update is seemingly going to be a collaboration update. Today, I'm going to talk about what to expect in the new collaboration and everything associated to what is releasing, what we know is going to happen, and what we will expect to see happen. All of that in this video. New to the channel, like and subscribe, it helps out a ton. Let's go through it. Let's talk about everything. So first thing first that I want to talk about is there's 2 different types of versions of collaborations they can go for. I made a similar video a month or 2 ago before we had the original Tower God rerun, because at that point we also thought that, given their statements, we would get a new collab finally. That was not the case, because they meant to say, oh, first we have to do a rerun, then we can talk about a new collab. In this case, they've specified 5 times that dev notes, where if they don't do a new collab, they're just lying at this point, because it literally says a series of fresh collabs, new collabs, collabs from a different world, so that already confirms that it's not something that we've already gotten before. So, the 2 variations of collab they can do is 1, the Tower of God collab. This was, again, the last new collab. That's how long it's been. It's been 1.5 years since the last Tower of God, or being the last new collab. That was Tower of God. Now, this collaboration deviated from the normal Grand Cross collab. For 5 years of Grand Cross, or in this case 4 years of Grand Cross, it's always been this collaboration format, where you'd have a free character, you'd have 3 base characters, you'd have basically the free character always be the PvE character, sort of, and then the other 3 would just do what they needed to do. That's similar, or simply how a collaboration's been. There's also the Ruris collab, there's also the Shield Hero collab. All collaborations have been a normal, simple getup of 4 characters, and that's it. First ever time in history they changed that with Tower God. We don't know why that is. It was also the first ever January collaboration, but my same point that I talked about in that video a month or 2 ago is there may not be a free character this collab. There may only be 3 characters this collaboration. There may be less events and everything associated, because as time has progressed here, collaborations have changed entirely. They are much different than what they used to be. So plan accordingly and be aware that, hey, it's only 3 characters. One of them is always PvE. Plan that accordingly. Maybe it is 4 characters and they return back to that original thing they used to do, which I don't know why it was ever a change in the first place. They've already lowered the amount of characters they release per year. Now releasing less collab characters per year also on top of that, further than that actually, because you have reruns most of the year now. It's crazy that became an entire thing there. But for most IPs like Fairy Tail, for most IPs like Fire Force, for most majority of IPs out there, 4 characters is a sweet spot when it comes to Grand Cross. Konosuba, sweet spot when it comes to that. Amethyst Shadow, sweet spot, 4 characters. Sure, like SLA, you could argue 3 characters. Some IPs here and there, you can argue 3 characters, but for most of them, 4 is the way to go. So I'm curious, if it is 3 characters, that is a permanent change that you're going to have to deal with, that yes, you're only going to get that moving forward, which again is just another lack of, effort in my opinion, when it comes to removing something like that. But again, back then, you had 4 characters. We'll see what happens here. 1 PvE, 1 being for free, or in this case, it could just be 3 characters, 1 PvE automatically, which leaves you with only 2 characters to do whatever else you want with. But there was no free character during Tower of God, which means if they go down that route, they're just basically screwing you. If anything, that's what happens. The rates don't get better, by the way. If you're like, oh, the rates get better, no, they don't. The rates are still crap. So there's also that on top of it. But relics, I expect that obviously, as always, you'll get relics the entire update here. When they say series of fresh collabs, they mean, I think bare minimum 2 collabs are brand new, which means the next collab and the one after should be brand new collaborations. So also plan accordingly with your gems. Be ready for what's there when it comes to the anniversary right after and everything else. There will be most likely 2 collabs being brand new, which means a lot of resources and everything used to level those up and obviously go through with those collabs. If it is a new collaboration like Overlord, expect around 100 to 150 gems / summons. They usually give you a quarter of the pity for free. So if it's like that back then, you can definitely expect that. Here, they give more front-loaded summons. When it's been like Tower of God and recent collaborations, they've been doing more summons and such. You see with the Tyr banner and also the Hell banner, very similar. They're giving more front-loaded summons versus gems. They don't want you to have more gems. They want you to have more summons, which makes you spend more gems. That's the new change that GC has also implemented lately. Plan accordingly on that front. You know, because again, it's probably a quarter of a pity they're giving you. So however much you want to go in after that, just know that they're already paying for a bit of the rotation. Usually there's 2 to 3 pulls, and then the rest being gems up until 150 pity is kind of how they do things. So just basically 4 or 5 multis is for free. That's really it. The extra multi here, what is it? 3 multis here. So 4 multis was what that had. That was 1 multi and then 2 multis. And then the gems were also higher. So that's a big change that has occurred here with collaborations as such. You know, yeah, so there's that. Given it's a new collaboration, there'll be obviously 6 different skins releasing if it's this, 8 different skins releasing if it's this. If it's this, you get, what, 4 free skins? Yeah, 4 free skins. If it's this one, you get 3 free skins. Obviously, less of a loot there, so that's the kind of thing. On top of that, you also have the events and everything associated. You will get most likely a final boss, and then maybe a boss or special deathmatch. That's per se what they do. So when it comes to that, just expect 2-3 bare bones events, and that's really it. They did say that they want to do collab stories or like change the effort in that. You saw that you did have a spring story, but again, I don't know how factual and if they start with this collaboration. They did talk about in the dev notes they wanted to sort of expand on collabs and make them a little bit better. So maybe with this new collab we do see some changes in things here, but honestly I have no idea. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that front. But that's a thing there too. Beyond that, Underground Labyrinth, probably we just got that, so it can't happen this time, which confirms it's a final boss for this run through. Skins, normal stuff, normal events. Tower God had like their version of the tower because it was like a tower thing. So it depends on what they want to do for our collab. Whatever the collab may be, you might see different stuff there. So that's pretty much it, right? Whether it be a 4-character collab, a 3-character collab, you'll get a bunch of events. You'll get 4 relics, 3 relics, depending on that. You'll get a bunch of skins, right? You'll probably get a freaking good unit. You've seen lately that there were good units. Other than the original Tower God run, which still you had Viol, mostly they have been pretty good units. You had Milam, a very, very busted unit. You also had original Overlord, which was Albedo. You had Vittoria, which is still lasted very long versus everything else. You also had... I'm forgetting one. Milam already said. There was one more. It was other than AOT and yeah, other than strictly AOT. Most collaborations released to be pretty good. The Shield Hero Arena was pretty good. Slime Ruin was really good. So this should be a pretty good collaboration at its bare, like bare bones at its bare point. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But for now, that's what to expect. A new collaboration of sorts. If they go back the Overlord route, it's a little bit different. If they go back the new route they've been doing, it's extremely different. Being, again, you lost a free character, you get more front-loaded summons, you get less events per se than usual. I'm curious on how they do things here, but the last new collab was a huge fumble for the community. Let's see if they change things per se. I don't know. Take care, have fun. It's been it for me.